What the fuck is happening with my eyes? I'm having another allergy attack. I'm literally at the concert and I just started having a fucking hive attack again. What the fuck? And I don't have any of my shit with me. Look at my eye. What the fuck, bro? Bro, why? Literally, I was just telling them the story tonight. I was showing them pictures and then it happened again. What is wrong with me?
That right now.
That means going to the hospital. This is so funny. Okay, guys. We don't know what caused it. We don't know what triggered it. Funny thing is, I was just talking about it tonight, literally telling the story tonight, because our friend that we were with, one of them's a nurse. And so I was showing them the pictures from December. We decided to spontaneously go to a concert. I did not bring anything with me because this hasn't happened since December. I didn't eat anything out of the blue, out of the ordinary, or anything I'm allergic to. And then this happened from literally 1 minute to the next. I literally started feeling like my eyes started itching. I started sneezing a lot, and I was like, uh-oh. Then I went to the bathroom. I saw my eyes started swelling. I was like, I'm going into a attack. I had to find a paramedic right away. They gave me, like, EpiPen and all that shit, like, at the venue. And then they had to take me in an ambulance. And now we're here at the ER. So, funsies. You guys, I just want to tell you that last night I dreamt about 4 nurses. I dreamt with 4 nurses that were sitting at a desk. One of them was wearing teal scrubs and her name was Amber and she was blonde. And I got into a little argument with her. And now here I am. Literally all the nurses were waiting for me when I pulled in because they thought like if I stopped breathing they were all gonna have to revive me. But I was making jokes so they're like, oh, she's fine. I was like, what? Not me in an ambulance. What a crazy night, y'all. That escalated so quickly, and I have no idea what caused it. Oh my god. What the fuck? You guys, look at my eye. Insane. I'm an alien. I'm ready to go to my home planet place. Alright guys, it is 3:14 a.m. This is the update. I can finally open my eye, but as you can see, I look like Quasimodo or something. So, yeah. I should be getting discharged in a minute because it's finally gone down. Alright everybody, I am officially home. Here's my eye. I'm bandaged up where they had they're taking a bunch of blood. This, I have really bad veins, really thin veins that are almost impossible to get blood out. So unless you're a phlebotomist or you actually really know how to take blood, you're gonna fuck it up. And she did. And at one point, my whole sinuses were so I literally felt like a dog that had got stung by a bee. That it was so inflamed that I was just dripping. I was like, can somebody wipe my nose? So she went to wipe my nose and she moved the needle and fucking blood splattered everywhere. I had blood all over. I literally have blood on my shoe. I'm like, the scene of the crime! Anyways, we survived. I'm so happy that I was at a concert where I could get instant medical attention because I would have had to hit myself with my EpiPen if I was at home, and I would still have to go to the ER because it's so bad. Here is more blood from the scene of the crime. Literally blood just splattered everywhere like CSI. Look at the design. Look at this. Oh, look at my finger for all the stickers. But look at this cute little design. I like it. It looks kind of like the moons or the sun or whatever. And yeah, there's blood everywhere. And then here is my shirt. Be the light, Matthew 5:14. My little ride the wave. Hi everybody, I'm fine. Here's me again. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, that was crazy. Unexpected. I really just don't have any rhyme or reason. Like the allergist said, I could just be one of those people that it happens to. And I believe everything is a spiritual thing. And so for me, I'm like, yeah, this makes sense. This makes sense because the Sirius Gateway is open until today. The sun is activating our DNA a lot, and this has been happening to me since July of last year. So
It's like July, August. So I find it interesting that it keeps happening in like the same time. It happened to me 3 times last year. This is my 4th time. Like, I was like, oh, nothing's happened, I'm good. No. But it makes sense. I've been having mentee bees and a lot of shit going on, and who knows, it could also like be brought on by stress. There's a lot going on, you know, spiritually, internally, mentally. So I'm not surprised. I was like, I know everything's mind over matter, so I knew what was going on, so I was calm. And what's helped me is to remember to breathe, because I meditate daily, and I do breath work, and I know like your breath is your gas and your pedal. And sometimes, yeah, an anaphylactic shock can kill someone in an instant because it'll just close up their airway so quickly. I'm very grateful that for me, this is the worst it's gotten with my airway. I was wheezing and I was like, I just need an inhaler. I need something. So that's why they put the gas mask on me, because I was like wheezing, and it wasn't because of a panic attack. And they always think like, oh yeah, it's like, she was wheezing probably because she was panicking. And I was like, no, I wasn't panicking. Like, the wheezing did just come on as an onset, side effect of the fact that everything is closing up. Thankfully, I did not get hives all over my body that I know of. I didn't have a chance to look, but I didn't feel them all over my body. The other 3 times it has gone all over my entire body. People are messaging me, does it hurt? Yes, it hurts. It literally feels like fire ants are attacking you. It feels like you're exploding from the inside out. It feels like you're going to explode. Like my face, because it was only on my face, especially my nose. It was like, I felt like a dog who got stung by a bee on the nose, and it was like, boom, you know? And so I was like dripping, like there's nothing I could do to stop anything. And, liquids coming from my eyeballs, from my nose, from everything. Thankfully, I could still breathe through my mouth. But I was like, I need an inhaler, guys. And they're like, we're getting you oxygen, because I could feel it like a little difficulty breathing. But I just closed my eyes and just kept being like, just breathe in, breathe out, mind over matter. Like, you still have your airway open, so it's fine. And I was just praying. I was like, God, like, help these angels to do their job. And like, they couldn't find a vein, as I told you guys. So this other guy came, Jonathan, a biblical name, came to help me out. And so I was praying over him, like, while he was doing it. I was like, God, please help Jonathan find a vein. And he did. He was able to find a vein so that we could do it. And I was very, very grateful that I was at a public event with paramedics that were able to assist right away. My EpiPen, they gave me more than 3 times the dosage of Epi than I have in my EpiPen. So when I got to the hospital and I showed the nurse my EpiPen, she was like, you got like more than 3 times that. So if this ever happens again, you're going to still have to come to the ER. Like, that's just to hold you over until you get to the ER. I'm like, okay, great. So, yeah, but I was like, oh my God, if I have a near-death experience, this will like heighten my gifts even more. I'm a weirdo, okay? So to me, I was like, oh, is it my time? I was not stressed about, oh, if I die. I always say, if I die, I die. It was my time to go. That's why I never had insurance. I never had insurance until literally now. And like, all these things are popping up now that I have insurance. I'm like, oh, isn't that interesting? So, yes. And then I was thinking like, oh, a near-death experience, will really heighten my gifts. And then I'm like, and if I die, then I'll get to know like what happens after you die. I was like, kind of like, oh, what's gonna happen? But just don't worry, guys. I'm fine. It wasn't my time to go. My higher self was like, no, girly pop, it ain't your time yet. You still got more work to do. I was like, dang it. Okay, I guess keep me here. Anyway, so I'm still here, guys. Don't worry. But yeah, I think there's a lot of factors. I have been doing hypnosis every night to fall asleep, and that also activates a lot in your DNA. My dreams have been wild, as the dreams did warn me, essentially. Like, I had a lot of signs in my dreams, but I didn't know this was gonna happen. I dreamt about nurses. I dreamt about like things that were at the hospital I had seen in my dreams the last few nights in just different areas. Like, it wasn't like, hey, you're gonna be at the hospital soon, but it's like things that were at the hospital were popping up in my dreams throughout this past week. And as we know, the Sirius gateways open up. It's like the last day today, and we're just going through major upgrades. Like, the solar flares are like impacting us, and you know me, I'll just be going through the hardest shit for the collective. I'll just be taking it on. And so I'm like, all right, whatever. And I know you guys get me. The normies would not get me. The normies would be like, she's literally needs mental help. And I probably do a little bit. But but to me, I'm like, oh, there's more than just like, oh, what did you eat? Was there perfume around you? You know what I'm saying? Like, to me, there's more. because there is no rhyme or reason. There is no pattern. It just happens. But the pattern has to do with like personal emotional things I'm going through, and then it's an onset like attack. Like mental health is important. What you're going through is important to like cut out people and things that can be toxic, because your body will react to the things and the people around you. And so to me, I see it more as an internal thing. Like I said, thankfully it didn't get all over my body, because when it does get all over your body, it really fucks up your stomach, because your organs are also inflamed. And so then you feel like you want to throw up, or you got to go take a shit. And it's like, it's really bad. But thankfully, because we caught it so early on, it stayed just up here. It didn't spread throughout my whole body. But yeah, I was like, guys, I'm fine. Like, you guys, and they're like, no, you're going to the ER. And I was like, though they can take me, I don't need an ambulance. And they were like, no, you're going in an ambulance. I'm like, all right. And like, it was so cool. It's like being in a movie. I'm like, oh, not me being the OA. If you guys haven't watched the OA, watch the OA on Netflix. So I was like in the ambulance, my first time in an ambulance, and I'm like, so this is what it's like being on the inside, because, you know, you always pull over for an ambulance, and it was like slow motion. It was like moving in slow motion. I'm like, dang, we're kind of like driving slow, but it's also like probably not slow in real life. But to me, it was like slow motion. All the cars were moving out of the way, and we finally got to the hospital, and they had like called all the nurses in, because they're like, she's really in anaphylactic shock right now. Like, we're monitoring her breathing. She's on a gas mask, like all this stuff. So they called all hands on deck at the ER. So when I get there, it is just, I felt like I was on an episode of ER Grey's Anatomy. I'm like, oh my God, you guys, like the welcoming committee. And so I go in, and I was like, are you guys, where's the real world patients? You guys don't have anything else going on. They're like, oh, she's fine. They like all walked away. I mean, they didn't. They all also wanted to watch my face, because I looked like Will Smith and Hitch. But they were like, oh, she's fine. She's good. They're like, she's making jokes. She's okay. And I was like, yeah, you just got to stay calm through all this stuff. If you freak out, it's really just going to make it worse for you. Also, I just found the book Becoming Supernatural by Joe Dispenza on YouTube as an audiobook, and I'm going to start listening to it. It is 10 hours long, but I'm going to start listening to it, because this is the kind of stuff that's like, it would help with, like, because people will think you're crazy, but you really can heal things with your mind over matter. And so also the Silva method, like people have healed themselves with the Silva method. This guy had his leg like chopped off, amputee, literally bleeding out. So the ER was like freaking out, and he's like, please just give me a minute so that I can get into like a state of mind where I can stop the bleeding. And they thought he was crazy. And then the mom showed up, who has taken the Silva method classes with him, and was like, go to a different place in your mind. And he's like, I'm trying to, but the nurse won't leave, and I can't concentrate because they're freaking out. And so they finally left the room. He was able to go into a different place in his mind and stop the bleeding. Joe Dispenza was told that he wasn't going to be able to walk again, because he broke his vertebrae, his spine, and he wasn't going to be able to walk, and he was able to re-heal himself through his mind. This is not new stuff. This is ancient knowledge, you know? And we also have our crystals, which, by the way, a couple nights ago, I had a dream that I was driving through a blue cave with writing on the walls. And I was like, this is so cool. I want to show everybody online. So I pull my phone out. And by the time I pull my phone out, I'm at a gift shop at the end of the cave, and it is full of crystals. All of the crystals that were in that shop came from the cave. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And I know that our bodies are crystallizing right now. Our bodies are crystal. Like, we are matter, and consciousness creates matter. So though there are events that may happen, like, yes, you can go into anaphylactic shock and die, right? Or like the kid on, you know, My Girl. I'm not saying that things don't just happen, because that is the plan and that is the path that we have chosen. But there are ways to try to control, if you can control it, because it's, you know, if it doesn't happen right away in an instant, there are ways that you can manipulate the mind to help the body. So a lot of people tend to go into panic attacks when things like this happen, because they don't know what to do. And that's what closes up your throat. And somebody just told me their friend ordered a coffee and they shaved almonds on top, and she didn't know. She took a sip of it and died right away from an anaphylactic shock. So it is possible, for sure. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying, if you have the time to control your mind, you can probably change the trajectory of your story if you focus on the mind instead of what's happening on the outside world and what's happening physically to you. So I recommend looking into Silva Method, Silva, the Silva Method, Joe Dispenza, Becoming Supernatural, and watch Heal on Amazon Prime or Gaia. And it talks about the mind being able to heal the body. So again, this is not, yes, modern medicine is very helpful. As you guys can see, I'm very grateful for it. We are mixing ancient knowledge with modern technology, and it is very useful if you can just have knowledge of both. You don't only have to stick to one path. The reason that we're so advanced, we're in 2024, yes, we have the technology to help heal us in a quicker way, but we also have the power of the mind, and we really can help ourselves heal. And a lot of people may not believe that, but there is plenty of proof out there of people who have survived and overcome things just because of their mind. So highly recommend it. Thank you to everybody that's commenting and DMing me. I love you so much. I'm still here for now. I also wanted to say, my friend Alexis, who was with me last night, first of all, thank you. Thank you to Art and Alexis, who were so freaking amazing. And Alexis is actually a nurse practitioner. And how freaking crazy that I dreamt of nurses and then I randomly hang out with Alexis. We go to this concert and then all this happens. What the fuck? But Alexis was explaining to us before all this happened, the reason that your body can develop allergies later on in life is because you form memory cells in your body, and she's in the medical field. She's not like into the stuff that I talk about, but she was telling us your body forms memory cells, and it will remember trauma that happened around certain events and things, and so you can develop an allergy to something later on because the memory cells have been activated. How crazy is that? So that made me think, because I was like, wait a minute, I was not allergic to dogs my entire life. I wasn't allergic to dogs my entire life, but my dad is allergic, so yes, it is genetic, but I never had it before. So I got a dog, a hypoallergenic dog, in 2006, which, by the way, is the same year that Cage the Elephant was formed, in 2006. I never knew who Cage the Elephant was, and we just went randomly, and I think their name is interesting. The way that their name came about, because I looked it up last night, is because there was a mentally ill man that was at one of their concerts when they were first starting out, and he hugged the lead singer and he said, you gotta cage the elephant, man, you gotta cage the elephant. And so that's where their band name came. And in 2006, when I got my dog, and I just think the symbolism is interesting, because you guys know it's like there's always an elephant in the room, right? What do people say? Cage the elephant. Don't talk about the elephant in the room. And right now, I'm talking about all the elephants in the room that people do not want to be spoken about. And I am pissing a lot of people off in my personal life and in the universe, in the world. And I'm pissing a lot of entities off, a lot of, things that they didn't want me to speak. And that's why they have come after me for so long. So the fact that I go to this concert called Cage the Elephant, it's like I was caged. I was caging in all of the elephants in the room that people didn't want me to speak on. And now I'm letting it all out. And guess what's happening? My memory cells are being activated. My memory cells, they're remembering all of the trauma I've gone through. And so my body is going through an upgrade. It is healing. I'm healing myself through all the shit that I've gone through. So when I was telling her, well, I got a dog in 2006, hypoallergenic, never had issues. I said, why 4 years later in 2010 do I all of a sudden start having allergies? And she said, you were exposed to the right dog. I said, what does that mean? And she said, you must have come across a dog, or your dog came across a dog that brought back something to you, and it triggered your memory cells and it made you allergic. And I was like, whoa, hold on. Because the first time that I ever broke out in hives from a dog, I was at my friend Ish's house, who's my first boyfriend from when I was 12 years old. And we just stayed friends. We're still friends to this day. Because I was 12 and we dated for 2 weeks or something. I don't know. It doesn't matter. We didn't even see each other. Anyway, but I was at his house in 2010 and I met his dogs, and they were pit bulls. His dogs jumped on me and I was fine with it because I was never allergic. All of a sudden my legs broke out in hives. And ever since then, I have been allergic to every dog, to the saliva. So even though my dog was hypoallergenic, his bodily fluids, I would break out in hives. There have been 2 helicopters that have passed by me already, and I just came out here. So in 2010 is also the time when I got into a very toxic relationship with a narcissist. It was a very chaotic time in my life. A lot of chaos was going on. Chaos, I have only thrived on chaos my whole life. When you are a child of chaos that came from chaos, even though people didn't think that, but it was chaotic, you know, to live in a Puerto Rican household whose mom is Seventh-day Adventist, and my dad just kind of did his own thing, but like told me my mom was in charge, and then my mom had like full control over us and was very, very strict, kept us in a bubble. We were secluded from the world because of her fear and anxiety against the world because of the things that had happened to her. So she kept us caged up. So it made me feel like I couldn't be myself. I wasn't allowed to be myself. I wasn't allowed to have my own thoughts and feelings because I had to do what she thought was right. And it was really hard. I was balancing a lot of lives, okay? I was balancing myself, my true self on the inside, who I wanted to be. I was balancing being, you know, Seventh-day Adventist, very Christian, being Puerto Rican, being a girl, being the older sister. I was balancing like my own wants and desires versus what I was being told that who I was supposed to be, what I was supposed to do, how I was supposed to think. On top of that, I was going to public school. So it was very hard to balance a lot of multiple lives at once. And then I also, because I was Seventh-day Adventist, I had 6 days of the week versus 7. So I had to learn how to do everything in 6 days instead of 7, because the 7th is the day of rest. So Friday night sundown to Saturday night sundown, I didn't work, I didn't do anything. I spent time with my family, no secular activities, and I went to church every Saturday. And into my adulthood, I kept doing that. And people never believed me. I worked in restaurants, which is like the busiest shifts are Friday nights and Saturdays, and I couldn't work them. But I busted my ass the rest other literally like 6 days because I would work Friday lunches. When I started serving, I worked Sunday through Friday and only had Friday nights and Saturdays off. I worked all the time. I worked my fucking ass off as a server. And because I had to make up for the fact that I didn't work Friday nights and Saturdays. And on top of that, I would close every night. I started closing shifts out once I was allowed to at Olive Garden. And ever since then, I closed. And I was always a closer. I was a trainer. I took my job seriously. I really did like serving, but I thought some of the rules were stupid and I would break the rules. Rules were made to be broken. But I didn't enjoy being a trainer. They made me be a trainer. And I didn't want to. I was like, I don't want to train. I'm faster and better when I'm alone. I don't want anybody dragging me down. And they're like, but you're a good server, so we need you to train. And I'm like, oh. But then I would train people and I'd be like, okay, this is what I do, but this is not what you're supposed to do. This is what you're supposed to do, but this is what I do. That was me, okay? So anyway, the fact that I've retired from serving, and then I also, like, I wasn't working those days and nobody understood how I was able to make money and how I had money and how I was able to live on my own. I moved out in 2012. On my own and was paying all my own bills, never have had help from anyone, lived alone all the way until we moved out here. My sister and I, now we live together, and I'm paying $1,400 for just my half of rent. Do you know what I moved with in 2020? What I was paying for a 1-bedroom apartment, 750 square feet, washer, dryer, 2 pools, a gym, gated community in Lake Mary, Florida, which was voted the 4th best place to live in the United States by Forbes magazine. It started off at $600 in 2012. By 2019, I was paying $820. That's it. And I left that, not knowing what the fuck COVID was going to do. I left that great little setup. Why? Because my mental health, I couldn't do it anymore. I was being suffocated by the life that I was living because it was not the life I wanted. It was the life that everybody else wanted for me, especially my mother. I had so much pressure on me as a child since 2 years old. Be the example for your sister. She's your little sister. You need to be the example. Who puts that pressure on a child? I had the pressure of having to be the good example for my sister and my mom's. Remember, if I'm not there, but God is watching you. God is watching you. God sees everything you're doing. He sees it all. And if you're doing something wrong, he will let me know. He's going to tell me. My dreams tell me. I see things. And this is what my mother would do to me, so that I would live in fear every fucking day of what I was doing. But guess what? My soul still wanted more. And so I'd have to sneak around and do shit. And that's how I got into this bad relationship in 2010, which I had literally just lost my V, okay? I didn't lose my V till I was 23 years old because I wanted to get married and wait till marriage. Now, did I personally want to get married? No, I never wanted to get married or have kids. But I always wanted someone to love me that didn't have to love me. I don't know why. That was like a thing since I was born with. That was like my mission in life. Find someone to love you that doesn't have to love you. Because I always thought like family has to love you. You know what I'm saying? Like if you could find a stranger. I always thought making friends was like the coolest concept. The fact that you could be living 1 minute not knowing this person existed and the next minute they're in your reality. I didn't even know you existed. Like last night, all those people that helped me with my anaphylactic shock, angels sent from above. Thank you, God, for all of these angels that you are helping help me right now. This is a blessing. This is a blessing. The fact that I decided, because they were spontaneous and said, we were all just hanging out at the house, like, let's go to a concert. We went to a concert randomly. The fact that I was with a nurse practitioner, the fact that I was at a venue that I was able to find a paramedic right away, that they had what I needed, that I was able to go into the ambulance and get help right away so that I didn't die. Those are all blessings from God. Those are all blessings from above. And though I don't agree with how my mother raised me because I never understood how you could be so fucking scared of God, how I don't want to serve a God who makes you do what he wants, because that is abuse and that is control, and that is what religion has made it to be. And parents also think they're in control of you because you are theirs, you are their property, they made you and they want to control you. And some parents like mine live in fear, and that if they're not in control because they're so scared of the Bible, and that if they're not in control of what their kids are doing, then they get repercussions. Essentially, they have failed God. This is how my mother sees the world. If all the stuff that I'm doing now, she has failed God because she did not do a good enough job as a mother to preach the word to me. Oh, believe me, honey, you preached it well enough. Okay, you preached it well enough, and that's why we're here. Looks like I'm putting on a little Sunday sermon, bitches. For those of you who are not in Close Friends, this is what I do. I go on my rants and I tell close friends everything, and they know everything. So this is not a surprise to close friends. But if you guys want to join Close Friends, it is a yearly subscription of $100 a year or $50 twice a year. So if you guys want to sign up, let me know and I can add you. It's a subscription per service since Instagram did like demonetize my subscriptions, and now they don't get a cut. Anyway, so yeah, when you grow up in a house full of fear, it's really hard to live life. But I always knew that I was different. I always said I'm not weird, I'm unique. I had different goals and dreams, and I was just sad. I was really sad in life. Like I always had a really strong relationship with God. Like I'm God's little angel. Like I'm literally his baby. He's my daddy. I don't care. He's my sky daddy for sure. Because I was like, you know, the people on earth kind of suck, and at least I can rely on God. God always has my back. God has never failed me. And I stayed true to what I believed God wanted for me. I wholeheartedly believed the teachings that I was taught, that my mother was right because my mother would know best. She's an adult, of course. She's lived longer, of course. No, my mom literally had me. She got married at 21, had me at 23, my sister at 25. If I had done that, I would also be stuck in old habits and patterns if I decided not to go to therapy and not to go beyond and really find myself and heal these generational curses. So I knew, my soul knew that it came here for a reason, and that's why I was so unhappy and uncomfortable living a life that was made for me and it wasn't my life. And I just used to think, how could God want me to sacrifice so much of myself and my dreams just to make him happy? Like if he already sent Jesus to die for my sins, why do now I also have to suffer? Oh my God, you guys missed it. A crow went right over, right there, went, ah! And I was like, and then it like cut off like the story. Right when I said that, if God loves me so much, why do I have to suffer to prove my love to him? And so that is a very huge misconception that society has, America specifically, because it was founded on Christianity, which founded slavery, which like literally it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit, and it's to keep us in control, and it all stems from the top. And a lot of people in our lives are stuck in that paradigm. And they want to be stuck in that paradigm because it excuses their behavior. If they can blame something on religion, essentially, or the Bible, because my mom's greatest shield of defense, weapon of choice is the Bible. I'm not saying this. I'm just the messenger. The Bible said it. So then you can't fight with her. You can't say anything back because you're like, oh, well, now I'm fighting with God. So she's a representation of God. And this is what narcissists tend to have an issue with is they get a God complex. So they think they are as powerful and their word is as good as gold and as good as God. And it's not. They are merely human who are so asleep and in their ego that they don't realize what they are doing. They are projecting onto everyone else because of their fears. And we, especially empaths or children of narcissists, fall for it because we think like, oh, okay, well, that's what they said, and so they must be right. And we just give people the benefit of the doubt because we are not people that would do that to other people. And I don't think that a lot of people do this with intention. I don't think they even realize they're doing it. It is a issue that they have going on in their brain. Clearly, I have to get this off my chest, and it's a message that I'm sure can help a lot of people because a lot of us have been brought up in the same system. Maybe not as crazy as mine, but I didn't see anything wrong with it at the time. I just thought, how could God want me to suffer so much? Because I never enjoyed this life. I just thought like people suck here. People are mean. I can't do what I want. I can't follow my dreams. I always wanted to be an actress, but I knew that wasn't going to work out because of my religion. But guess what? All those things protected me. It was really rough at the time, but I planned it. Because, and just like my guide said during my Akashic record, I planned it because it was for my soul's evolution. I went through a lot of pain and suffering for my soul's evolution. And that's the purpose of this thing, dude. Like, we chose to come here, and when we can finally get to the other side of looking back into it instead of being in it, you realize that you did this all to yourself. You did this, everything that you've gone through, you planned it. And I know it's really hard to hear. Believe me, I don't want to hear that I chose the abuse I've been through. I don't want to hear that I caused myself to have all health issues. But we did. Because we came here to forget. We came here to forget. We came here to forget when we were born, but so that we could remember when our soul evolved. Right? So we came here asleep. We forgot. And it's our job to remember. Some people came in more aware than others. My sister was a conscious baby. She remembers being a baby. I do not. I had to go through a lot of chaos to get to peace and quiet. And because I am working so hard on evolving my soul, this is why these things are happening. As you guys know, I started my plant medicine journey 2 years ago with ayahuasca in May of 2022 when I was turning 35 years old. I never did anything like this. I didn't try weed till 2017, and that was like just on occasion. I started doing it more frequently once 2020 hit, and it really took off with my awakening. So I will forever be grateful to the spirit of marijuana because it has helped me get here. And then I did mushrooms, and that was another journey. And then then ayahuasca called me, and I was like, well, okay, yeah. Ended up doing ayahuasca. Did it in May, did it in August, did Bufo, did Cambo, the 5-MeO, did Bufo is the 5-MeO DMT, and Cambo is to heal like trauma. Did that, took a little break. My guides were like, okay, you're good. Took a break. And now, I've done stuff here and there in the past 2 years. But in the past 2 years, I have been smoking daily, and it has really helped me. It is my medicine. Weed is my medicine. And I've done it in so many different forms. I started off smoking pens in 2019. I started off with pens, but then I got COVID and it really fucked up my lungs, and I developed asthma. So I stopped hitting pens. So then in 2020, I switched to edibles, and I was doing edibles. I did edibles until I just only did edibles, and I was just do them like on my days off because you never know how edibles are gonna hit. But then edibles started being like, oh, they really don't have, I don't know, I think they were messing with the edibles, so it wasn't affecting me like that. And also it is really a tough gauge. You really don't know how the edible is gonna hit. So then I switched to, I got a bong, but I really don't like bongs because they just really hurt my throat. So I tried little bongs, and I would put it like, and that actually did help me with COVID. Like with my asthma, I would keep a little one frozen in the freezer, and then it would vaporize, and so that helped me. But yeah, besides that, I'm not a fan of bongs. They just get so dirty too. So then after that, yeah, I just wasn't, I was staying away from smoking. I was mostly doing edibles randomly because it was just really hurting my throat. It really hurt my throat. I couldn't inhale. I couldn't get it past this point. So then when I went and did ayahuasca, as you guys know, my throat chakra, that started unlocking my throat chakra, opening all of my chakras, but specifically my throat chakra. I did almost die under ayahuasca by choking, and that's always been a thing. And then I did a past life regression QHHT session where I saw that I got killed by a reptilian in my home planet when I was a fish like Luca. I saw myself get killed by a reptilian and I cried, and that's up on my YouTube if anybody wants to watch it, my QHHT session back from like I want to say 2022, yeah, where I saw myself get killed by a reptilian on another home planet. And so we're all from the stars, we're all from other planets, and that's why we're here. We're here to remember where we came from, to remember who we are, remember that these people, these entities have already done this to us before, and they will not do it again. They have come after me in every lifetime, and they're trying to come after me again, and it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen because I already won. I'm already on the other side, so they can't touch me. They can't do anything to me, no matter how hard they can try. So then I ended up doing Cambo and Bufo. And Bufo, you have to smoke, and I could not smoke it. I couldn't smoke it. I couldn't get past this point. And that's when Susie, the practitioner, said, I think you have a throat entity. There's a throat entity wanting to keep you shut. And I was like, what? Girl, no. I had already gone viral on TikTok. So I was like, girl, no. What are you talking about? Like, I speak out. And she's like, you have a throat entity. Yeah, it took a minute for it to finally hit. We had to come up with a different way to do it. You're supposed to breathe in for 20 seconds straight. I could not inhale. I couldn't get past like 7 seconds. And I remember a lady there, and she said, women take shallower breaths because we're used to taking up less space. And I was like, oh, I'll be damned if you think I'm gonna take up some less space. So we ended up breaking it up. And I was taking very shallow breaths. I really was not taking a full breath because I was always told to be quiet, stop talking, you talk too much, you don't need to be doing that. My mom would always say, what happens in this house stays in this house. You don't need to talk about me. Don't have my name in your mouth. And I had to keep all the secrets. And who did that affect? Me. That affected me. That affected my mental health. I didn't want to be alive. And not that I ever would take myself out, but whenever the Lord wants to take me, baby, take me. Literally, if I die, I die. Oh, if I die, I die. I am not scared of death. I am intrigued to know what happens, but I know that I have to finish out my life here. I cannot take myself out. And I always knew, like, growing up, oh, if I take myself out, I won't go to heaven, so I can't take myself out. But I still, I thought people who actually go through with it are very brave. I'm like, wow, like, that takes a lot to really go through with it. I'm more scared of that, like, to really go through with it. But those people have hit such a, low point that's the only option they see. But for me, because I was raised having God in my life, that really did help me. That really did help my mental health, knowing that I had something out there backing me up. If I did not have my faith in God, I would not survive this lifetime. I would have been gone a very long time ago. Very long time ago. And those thoughts still creep back in. They just crept in the other day of ways that I could go. And that's why I was like, I think I'm getting attacked. That's why the thoughts that we have to pay attention to, because they are not your thoughts. Those negative thoughts that come in, those are subconscious thoughts that come in from other places and other people who are also powerful and have the belief in themselves that they can make you question yourself, and they can make you feel like shit, and they can make you not be sure of yourself, and they can gaslight you. Those people believe that they're right. Those people believe that they're powerful. Those people believe that they have authority. You have to believe that you also are powerful, that you also have authority. You are not below them. No one is above or below. And we say that people have an old soul, but souls are all just on a journey. Time is not real. And it's not linear. We're all just on this journey. Society has put these barriers on us and these implications on us and these expectations on us. And when that's all when we're stressing about what everyone else thinks and what everyone else is saying and am I doing things right? There is no right or wrong way to live life. There is no right or wrong way to live life. Even people who choose to commit murder, that is their journey, and they went to jail, and that is their soul's plan. It is no one's job to judge anybody else's journey, okay? We are on our own journey. It is not a race. We are infinite beings. We are eternal. When you die in this life, you just transition to the next, and you'll go and learn more lessons there. This is just the game. This is just what it is. And that shatters people's reality and illusion. And so they don't want to hear it. But it is what it is. You are eternal. And you are powerful. Do not let anybody think that they have more power over you. And that includes your family. That includes your friends. That includes your job. That includes your religion. That includes your partner. You are in charge of your life. And it is not easy, as you can see, to go off the beaten path. But I'm doing it because my soul keeps pushing me forward. My soul keeps pushing me forward because it knows. It knows more than I do. And so I just have to follow the path. And it's fucking hard. It is not easy. This is glitching so bad. I'm going to have to get off here. I've been talking for way too long, y'all. This is my Sunday sermon. You know, y'all know I could go all day. I should just start putting these up on YouTube. I need to stop posting them here. And I'm going to download this and post it on YouTube. But I should be doing this on YouTube. I'm going to start doing that. So I'll probably just do that from now on. But I didn't expect to go on this whole rant. It just started coming out. Path less traveled is not easy, but it's worth it. You will learn so much about yourself, and you deserve to figure your shit out. You deserve to find who you are at the core. You deserve to live your dreams without anybody judging you and anybody telling you that what you're doing is wrong. Fuck them. Tell them to mind their own fucking business, because they can turn around, look in the mirror, and see a lot of fucking flaws in themselves. And because they refuse to look at themselves, they're looking at everyone else so they can find an issue with everyone else and what they're doing wrong, and then blame the issues in their life because of what they're doing wrong. Because if they had just fixed what they did wrong, then this wouldn't have happened to me. Sorry to tell you, but you're the only one causing your own struggles. You're the only one getting yourself in these situations because you're keeping people in your life that you shouldn't have, and you're doing things that, and I, again, not saying that there's a right or wrong way, but I'm saying if you long to have a more peaceful and tranquil life, you have to get rid of the trash. You have to follow your heart. Your heart knows best. This is your life, baby. This is your life. And you don't deserve to live it depressed. It is a long life to live unhappy. And I just had a mental breakdown saying that, because I said I have lived 37 years unhappy. Boop. It is a long life to live unhappy. I need to be me. And I don't care if my mother doesn't love me because I choose to be me. That sounds like her own problem. That sounds like she's got issues, because to not love someone for being themselves, and you don't even care to find out who they really are, you just care to judge them and tell them they're going to hell. You have issues, and you're telling me that I have issues. So let's agree to disagree, and let's go our own ways. I do not need a relationship with someone who is just waiting for the minute to tell me all the things they hate about me. I don't need that in my life. I don't need someone who loves me conditionally. I don't need someone who's only happy if I'm doing exactly what they want me to do. I don't need someone keeping tabs on me. Or that only loves me if they're keeping tabs on me. I don't need someone who only loves me if they have access to me, if they can control me. I don't need that. And guess what? Because that was taught in my home from such an early age that equals love. Control equals love. God loves us. That's why he controls us, because he loves us. Okay? You see where this is all coming from? I then got into toxic abusive relationships because I thought that is love. And I was crazy. I was insane in my relationships. Insane. And in 2010 is when I get into a toxic, very toxic narcissistic relationship that went on for 6 years. That was abusive. And that's the year I became allergic to dogs. Do you see how it's all related? The body keeps score. Okay? Everything stems from trauma. This is why I'm telling you, watch the documentary Heal. Okay? Everything stems from trauma. Our body I've probably gained weight because I'm protecting myself. I have cut so many people out of my life and I'm building a shield around me. And therefore my body is holding that memory. And so it's protecting me and it's adding more cushion to me because I have to be so tough all the time that now I'm a little softy teddy bear because my body is protecting me. Do you see how all this works, you guys? I'm telling you, if you just get into the root of things, and you start really digging into your past and you start doing the shadow work and you start going on this healing journey. And I do want to say that after I did the DMT where she said I had throat entity, after I did not go on a journey of visuals. I did not see anything like most people do. I just threw up, and it was because I could feel an entity pulling down at me. I could feel an entity literally pulling down on my stomach, and I was like, get out of me. They didn't want to leave. I was like, get the fuck out. And I was throwing them up. Then I went to Vegas on July 4th of 2022 when the Georgia Guidestones blew up. What a time to be alive. That was a wild time. Vegas was a fucking blast because I was getting the download like insane. They were like in real time, and I was like, oh my god, what the fuck is going on? And then I got called to smoke. I wanted to smoke a joint, and I was like, I don't smoke.